Okay. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Good afternoon, good evening. It is a good Friday. How is everyone doing? Hey Ismat, hey Velvex, long time no see. Hey Diana, hey Jen B. Hope you're all well and trading well, and I'm glad to have you all here with me. Again, if you are new to the session, do drop a message, say hi, let me know where you're joining us from. And if you can, through the session, if you find it useful, interesting, informative, do click that like and subscribe button. That helps this video get found by more people, supposedly. So let's test that out. Click that like and subscribe button. All right. Just a quick risk disclaimer. This live market analysis is sponsored by Max Global Markets, a brokerage firm that is registered with and regulated by the Monetary Authority of Singapore, the MAS. Max Global Markets has no control over or influence over the content of this analysis, which is generated by an independent party. So please remember that the information in this analysis is offered solely for educational and informational reasons and does not constitute financial advice. With that, hope you're all having a fantastic Friday. If at any point in time you do have a question, please feel free to put it into the chat and let me know. Okay, I think I forgot to do this. So here it is. If you haven't already, I think most of you have, but if you haven't already, the link is there for the Discord channel. I look forward to seeing you all on Discord. If you have, that's where we can take our discussions beyond this 1 hour session through to Discord. 700 over members there at this time, all from all around the world. I'm sure you'll find a friend or a neighbor in the group as well. You don't have to trade alone. You always have a community here to trade together with you. Okay. Hey Serene, happy Friday. Hey Riot. Hey Pips Apprentice, good morning. How are you doing? Hey D-Train. So what has happened since we last spoke yesterday? At 8:15 p.m. last night, GMT plus 8, 8:15 GMT plus 8, we did see the ECB with no surprise holding rates at 4.5%. Monetary policy statement was neither a surprise on the monetary policy statement. I should try and shorten that. MPS, right? Just getting tongue-tied. PEPP and the minimum reserves not discussed at the meeting. Rate cuts weren't discussed, would be premature. The ECB has to be steady and has to hold. Sounds like a lot of things were not discussed. Did they even have a meeting? Yes, they did. Right? They did have a meeting. They just didn't discuss rate cuts. They did not discuss PEPP or the minimum reserves. So essentially what they came to the decision was holding rates at 4.5%, and because of that, what we saw on the euro dollar at 8 p.m. there, right, it found that support here, the previous low, right, it found that previous low here at 1.0530 just before the news. On the news release, pushed down a little bit, pushed back up. That trend line, which was providing some support, now seems to be providing some resistance. I am still looking for that move. It almost came around, right? On the news release, we saw that push up, test. I was looking for it to push back down. It came back down to that previous low at 1.0530 before bouncing. So that trade, these trades did not trigger. We'll take those away. Right now, the euro dollar is still sitting at a similar level to where we were yesterday. Let me see. Yesterday we were at that point. 1.0550, now 1.05 0.57. So in a similar position, dragging this down a little bit, you see that it's right along that 23.6 level. Okay, so that's the euro dollar from the news last night. No big surprises. Did not see it do too much. 8:30 p.m. advanced GDP quarter on quarter for the US was 2.1%, revised down from 2.4. Expected 4.9. No, expected 4.5 was released at 4.9. Quarter on quarter GDP just went from 2.1 to a 4.9%. 8:30 p.m. GMT plus 8 last night. What we saw on the dollar in that case, 8 o'clock, right? It pushed down because the euro dollar pushed up, but then it pushed back up again. So it still remained for essentially the whole of yesterday, all the way through 1 a.m. It remained within this consolidation that we identified, right? Bounced around along 1.0670 despite the news on the euro and the news on the US GDP. And then unemployment claims, it's a weekly number, not too bothered. Press conference from the Eurozone or from the ECB, which is what we had already. Okay? So essentially, no big surprises last night. And this is a... Ooh, my voice is not audible. Can you hear me on trading? It's really silly to say, can you hear me on TradingView? Because if you can't hear me, you can't hear me, right? So just testing the sound on TradingView. Guys on YouTube, if you can hear me okay, just let me know. Hey David, how you doing? Hey Jimmy, how you doing? Thanks for that, Daniel. So VJ, if it's not working, if the voice or the sound is not working for you, click refresh. Might be a little bit of an issue on TradingView, but click refresh. Thanks for that, Daredevil Dave. Daredevil Dave, I hope the trading is not in the Daredevil style. It's a steady style, all right? Good to see a couple of new names there. But yeah, VJ, if you can't hear, click refresh, and I think it should sort it out. Thanks for that, Jambi. Thanks for that, Diana. So YouTube is working fine. Now, where was I? All good in London. Thanks for that, Pips Apprentice. All good all around the world. Thanks, Ayakame. What was I talking about just then? No big surprises. Despite, quite rare. This is quite a rare scenario, right? Quite a rare scenario that an ECB event, right? I'm trying to think. I'm just trying to cast my mind back through the years, almost more than a decade worth of trading, and I can't pinpoint exactly, or such a similar situation when ECB rate decision leads to a move of no more than, or ECB meeting sees a less than 40 pip move in price. Very rare, very rare. So that's one reason why, like I was telling you all yesterday, in a typical situation on an ECB event, I would say, let's turn on the YouTube live, let's trade live together. But I didn't do that last night because I didn't think that it was going to be a major event, and rightfully so, less than 40 pip fluctuations on price. Through that, what we have today, very quiet day. So far, prices have been fluctuating a little bit, not too much. But at 8:30 p.m., this is something to watch out for. Core PCE price index for the US, month to month. was 0.1%, expected 0.3. Core PCE price index is the change in the price of goods and services purchased by consumers, excluding food and energy. It is the Fed Reserve's primary inflation measure. So this, if it does on a month-to-month basis go from 0.1 to 0.3, you can see that it has been dropping or staying relatively steady. An increase in that case might again signal some increased speculation that the Feds could hike rates. I don't think it's going to do too much. I think even if it comes out at 0.3%, if you look at the CME Fed Watch tool, you'll see that November, right, they're looking at it staying at 99.5% chance of it at 5.25%, staying at that current rate with no change, right? Staying at current with no change, a 0.5% chance that it could drop. 0.5% chance that it could drop or could signal a cut, and 0 chance that there's going to be a hike. Not very long ago, a month ago, there was 0 chance that it's going to cut, 22% chance of a hike, 77.5% chance of staying. Right now, it's almost a certainty. So I don't think this core PCE price index is going to signal, going to lead to any change in the overall sentiment of the Fed Reserve interest rate decision, but it might bring about some price fluctuation that could give us better entry setups. Okay, so something to watch out for. So that's the news for today. 10 p.m. we do have consumer sentiment. Looks like it's going to stay, so I'm not too worried about that. Right after this news, I would suggest to most people would be have an early head into the weekend, have an early weekend. Enjoy your Halloween weekend coming up as well, right? Go get more candy. Through to next week, as we're towards the end of the week, we look into next week. We do have nothing much on Monday. On Tuesday, watch out for that. On the 31st of October, BOJ, Monetary Policy Statement, Outlook, Policy Rates, with the US yen at the current level. Could this be a level or news that we'll see some interventions or jawboning happen? Look forward to that on Tuesday. Then on to Wednesday, it's the Euro holidays. We have ADP. We have Joe LTS for the US. Main focus will be at 2 a.m. on Thursday morning, 2 a.m. GMT plus 8. Fed funds rate looking to stay at 5.5%. Bank of England with the interest rate decision on Thursday as well. And then on to Friday, the non-farm payrolls. Okay, so quite a number of things to look forward to next week. Looks like it's going to be a busy week ahead or next week. So don't waste the bullets today if you don't see any good setups. Okay, now looking at the charts. Okay, I'll just do a quick review of what we spoke about yesterday. No, okay, I'll do the charts first. Diana was saying it was raining. It was heavy raining in Dubai. Had a beautiful day. I saw a lot of videos and pictures of the rain, a little bit of flood. I saw the traffic. I saw the lightning strikes. It was interesting. Very interesting. I'm glad you had a good day. Hey, Goju, how you doing? Okay, so dollar index is yesterday when we were looking at this. Hey, Jamil, how you doing? The dollar index was sitting right at this 106.70 level. Right now at 106.63, so not a big difference. Found support at 23.6, right? That's something we somewhat expected as well. So we were looking that it could retrace. Only if it broke below this point, then we would think that it's going to hit lower. But given that the way it's moving like this, right, that has found 23.6, could bounce back up. Question now is if it breaks beyond 106.70, my initial thought was that it could do a similar thing. But I don't see any big reason why we're going to see a big move on the dollar index today. The only... Give me a second, let me fix something. My nose is still itchy. Okay, back. The only thing that I would... Well, not the only. One of the things that I would consider is that through this week, right, the dollar started right about there. Through this week. Was it this week? Yeah. Through this week, the dollar started right there, broke all the way down, pushed all the way back up, and it found 23.6. I'm wondering whether this is the full extent of that retracement, or whether we could, because of the end of the week, it being the end of the week, we could see a deeper retrace. So that's what I'm pausing about. Okay, so I'm actually thinking that could we see it test 106.30? If it fails, comes back down. We might actually see that. So what I think is likely to happen here is that Dino is just saying if you look at daily time frame, it seems indecision candle or hammer. Oops. Yeah, see that one there. Zoom in a bit, you see that there. So we see the tail up there testing this level. It's a bit of an indecision. Right now seems to be forming the indecision, a bit of an indecision as well. It looks like, I don't like zooming in that much, okay? It looks like it's gonna stay there with no big directional change. Looks like might be two indecision bars. Let me try to find a similar example to show you guys. Yeah, it looks like that. So I'm anticipating that we might see something like that, or that, right, at a key level. Oops, don't know why I moved that one away. Never mind, take that away. So it looks like it will stay there, and that's why I was thinking, yeah, it could push up, but it looks like it's gonna sit there. So now back to, good point there, thanks for spotting that, Diana. right? So now looking at the dollar index again on the H1 time frame, I'm actually thinking that, what am I doing? I'm pressing all kinds of random buttons. This level might hold. This level at 106.90 might hold. Yeah, that point might be the high. And what we have here is, if it does not break beyond this point, we're likely to see it test 106.30. Right? And most likely, we're actually going to see that maybe bounce around here a little bit, but head down towards 106.30. I'm happy with that. I'll stay with that view. So 27th today, we're looking at it possibly consolidate at 106.50. Along 106.50, break, no, consolidate and break below 106.50 to reach 106.30. Okay, so consolidate for now, break below 106.50 to get down to 106.30. I think that's what we'll see. I don't think it will come all the way down to 50. That seems a little bit too deep, right? So it might just start and end the week at almost the same point. So now with that, and it might push up a little bit before coming back down, but I think it's just going to fluctuate around before pushing lower. With that, we're looking at possibly some downside on the dollar index. The buyers now is for the downside. Then we'll go look at the other pairs. For the downside potential, we'll also identify any possible retracement or counter buyers. You see here that the Kiwi dollar went up to test 61.8 before pushing back down. I would actually keep, despite thinking that the dollar could weaken. Right, what you see here, look at that. I don't know what's happening. Hang on. Okay. Look at that. Dollar is pushing to the downside right now, but yet you're also seeing the Kiwi dollar push down. All right, so I think that there is some overarching weakness on the Kiwi dollar. Look at the trend, right? Look at the trend. Big downside move. So we were looking for the test that resistance and turn back down from yesterday. But what it has happened is it's gone up a lot more than expected, but it seems to have tested that 61.8 and looks to be threatening to break lower again. So what I would say is still the same at what? 0.58, stop loss 20, take profit 50 to the downside. Could it bounce? If it does bounce, that would be interesting. No, that would not be good. I would look for that because I think that if it does bounce, then we could see more on the Aussie dollar. Okay, so I'll look for that on the Kiwi. It's to sell 0.58, stop loss 20, take profit 50, I think we have that from yesterday. So this is looking at, may start to react less to US data, more to data elsewhere. Yeah, we know that. That's likely due to weakness on the Kiwi rather than because of that dollar scenario. All right. Good morning, OJ Mids. So I'll keep that. Dollar, Aussie dollar rose a lot. All right. Aussie dollar rose a lot, tested that 61.8, pushing back down. That trade again did not trigger. So none of our trades triggered. If I'm not wrong, none of the trades set up triggered yesterday. But what you see here is that the Aussie dollar is being held by that 61.8, and it is within that upward channel. Okay, it's within that upward channel. So what I would be looking out for here on the Aussie 61.8 there is if that dollar weakness continues. If that dollar weakness continues, then we'll see the Aussie dollar bounce off this lower end of the channel back above 61.8. We could be looking at a buying opportunity 6355. Stop loss very tight here, right? Stop loss of maybe 15 pips. Take profit. I know that there's a channel, but I'm just looking at it at 40 pips. You could be looking to get out a little bit earlier on the channel at 20. I'm looking at 40 here, just thinking that the dollar index could drop in that case. All right, so 6355, 15 pips to 40 pips on the Aussie. Jamil says it's a good chance to short. Yeah, yes, you could short this if it breaks below 6330. I'll put this to the side. If it breaks below 6330, your take profit would be 40 pips. Your ideal stop loss would be 20 pips. You're still looking at one is at least 20 pips. Should be about 25 to the downside there. So you could be looking at that on the Aussie. Why I'm not looking at that downward, because I'm looking at the Kiwi for that downward move. Then I'll look for the Aussie for that upward move. It's either or. So we'll cover our bases in that sense. But yeah, you could, Jamil, you could be looking for that push to the downside and then maybe look for the Kiwi dollar maybe to bounce off this point. Okay. Aussie on the daily time frame seems consolidated at 0.63. Daily time frame 0.63. No, 0.6. It's going to range. On a daily time frame, it looks like the Aussie dollar is ranging along this support level. You can take that one away. And I think that as well. On the H4 time frame, you see that trending. Looks like it could push, but I want to see that. Okay, so I'm just covering the basis of dollar weakness scenario, dollar strength scenario. No, I didn't update that. So Aussie, I'm looking to buy on the dollar weakness scenario 6355, stop loss 15, take profit 40. 0.63555, stop loss 15, take profit 40. Aussie dollar triple bottom. Let me see. 1, 2, 3. Yes. 1, 2, 3. Possible push up. Yeah, I think it's just stuck in this range. That's why I think there's a possibility for the continuation to the upside. All right. Good views there, Spiros and Diana and Jamil. I think that, yeah, it all depends on how this fella's gonna do. All right. Then on to the US yen. All right. Since yesterday when we were speaking about this, just before the call, the stream, it was pushing down and then it sat there right in consolidation. Not ready at this point. Neither of those trades triggered. It's still in consolidation at this point. Right, and you see that same thing. One big spike down and then it pretty much sits in a bit of a consolidation, slowly gravitating up, and then a big push. So I think that 150 is a good support level right now. A very good support level. It looks like it's going to consolidate at this point. Got itchy nose again today. Right, it looks like if you're going to consolidate along this point, I'm thinking that because we have the Bank of Japan's decision or rate policy on Tuesday, and today being Friday, it might be wise not to jump into the US yen. But as a possible speculation, 149.80, stop loss no more than 25 pips. Take profit could be a 50 down. This is in the sense of dollar weakness, might have an end of the week close of positions, a big retrace because of all that movements. We might see a brief spike down and then a push back up again. But most likely, I think that it's going to continue sitting along this range. Okay, so very speculative there on the US yen. I would say sell 149.80, stop loss 25, take profit 50. In fact, as I'm saying that, my nose is killing me today, you might even be thinking at a 20 pip stop loss, saving that 5 pips. Okay, you might even be thinking of a 20 pip stop loss. Alrighty, now, very speculative. How did I spell that right? Speculative, yep. Jin, if you draw your support and resistance, do you take wick or candle? I'll take both wick and candle, depending on how long that wick and candle is. For example, in this case, like the US yen, with a big long wick like that, then I wouldn't consider the wick so much. I'll pick the body a bit more. If there are a lot of that kind of wick and candles, then I'll take that wicks more, right? But in general, I'm not too fussed about wick or candle or body, because in that whole area, this is a bit of an extreme, but essentially in that area is where I would be a little bit concerned, right? About what to do. So if price comes back up into, say for example, the US yen pushes back up, once it gets to this point, I wouldn't be buying. I wouldn't be saying it's broken a resistance. it's time to buy, because I would say that at this point it still could come up to here before it do something. Right, it needs to break past this point before I'll consider. So I'll still be looking at that whole area as a consideration. Right, but I wouldn't be only looking at a week, because if no I wouldn't be only looking at a week, because what could happen here is that price pushes right back up here, and then you think, great, at this point I could buy, and there's a good, for example, a good 30 pip to the upside. I could have a tight stop of 10 pips, 1:3. But what you also wouldn't notice is that at that point it could test and reverse back down. So I would highlight those two areas, or those 2 points, and consider that whole area as a resistance. A little bit wide, actually not a little bit, not too bad. It's only about 27 pips wide, so it's still okay. So I'll consider that whole thing as an area. All right, hope I answered your question there, Diana, about very good question about support, resistance, and wicks or candles. I get that all the time. DY44, how are we looking on gold price? We'll get to that shortly. Just stay tuned. Done that on yen. So now looking at pound. Pound, dollar has not seen, none of our trades triggered from yesterday. That did not happen. Take that away. That almost came around, but then did not. So we're looking for that to test and push down. You're most welcome, Diana. Right? Nope. So it was between 23.6 and 38.2 before pushing back down. That did not trigger as well, so take that away. It's interesting that from what I'm seeing here is that retracement. Yesterday was a retracement day, right? Yesterday was purely a retracement day because nothing, we had our levels. It retraced a little bit more or a little bit slower than we expected. So none of the trades got triggered. But right now, it looks like, right, although the dollar is still sitting right there, it looks like we're looking for a continuation. Looks like a retracement has completed, and we're looking at a continuation for that dollar strength, which means that we could be looking at it sitting right there, push up, and then maybe come back down to that point. Right, so there's a bit of a decision here, which is at this point, what's going to happen at 106.90. Yeah, I might revise the view on the dollar. Because I'm looking at this, and generally across, we've seen Kiwi dollar looking like it's going to push down. Aussie dollar might push back up, but there is a downside potential. Yen is just going to fluctuate there with a speculative move. Pound dollar looks like it might push down a little bit further. So I'm looking at that as a possible, everything else losing ground against the dollar, not so much the dollar gaining strength. Right, so I'm going to revise that and consider that. Good morning, Suleiman. How are you doing? Maybe dollar index could retest 106.90. If it fails to break, could retrace to 106.30. How about that? Right, so could retest 106.90. If it fails to break that point, then you come down to 106.30. Then with that, I'm looking at the pound dollar, possibly 1.2095, stop loss 20 pips, take profit 80 pips to the downside. Hey Faith, how you doing? Good morning. Hope you're well. Okay. Yesterday, pound was a very good point for. Well, you could have longed. If you were at that point, we were at this point yesterday. If you took a long there, that's a good 50 pips, but that's a bit on hindsight because it could have stopped there. You could have targeted that. Yeah, you could have made 50 pips on the pound dollar if you longed at that point, but just following the trend. Suleiman, did you get onto the pound dollar long in that case? Let me know. But what I'm looking at here is 1.2095, stop loss 20, take profit 80. Okay. 1.2095, stop loss 20, take profit 80. Today, pound dollar, I look to only buy. Yeah, this is if it. Yeah, I'm a bit undecided on the pairs right now. Today doesn't look like it's going to be a big trading day for me. I've had my big trading days through the week, earlier in the week already. If I were to buy the pound, right? If I were to buy the pound, it would be in the event that it breaks above 1.2140. Stop loss would be 40 pips. Take profit would be back up 120. Or at the very least 65 that way. But I want to see that. And in fact, even if this comes down to that 40, I think that would be reasonable. I'll change that as 40 pips. I don't see it dropping 80. Okay, there we have it for the pound dollar. I'm looking for that to break, that support level to break. Okay, then on to the euro. Held 23.6, pushing to the downside. Same thing. It's right in the middle. Yesterday's euro news did nothing for the euro. It pushed it up a little bit, consolidated along that level. So it did pretty much nothing for the euro. Now, if it breaks down, guys, today is not going to be an easy, unless something changes. I don't think today is going to be an easy pip day. Because I'm seeing the dollar strength. But I'm seeing very limited dollar strength here. So there's a bit of a disconnect, right? So what I'm seeing here is for this to push down 1.0520, stop loss 20, take profit 60, 70 to the downside. Yeah, I'm seeing the dollar strength on the other pairs, but I don't see it that much on, or rather I'm seeing a bit of a top on the index, right? Index even right at that point. If it breaks beyond 106.90, then we're going to see a big spike because This level has held since October, right? So if it breaks past this point, then we see it spike up. But just for today, unless here we have it, core PCE price index comes out later, 0.1 or 0.2%. 0.1%. Because on the 29th of September, what happened? Let's see. Right at that time, zoom in a little bit, at 8:30 on the 29th of September at 8. Right, so this is 8. We saw it fluctuate there. The core PCE price index was 0.2, expected 0.2, came out at 0.1. So that's where we saw inflation growth slowing down. And then we saw the dollar index push up at 9 and continue to the upside, and then started that rally through next week. Maybe that's what we could see this time around. So if we see a surprise on the dollar, on the PCE, core PCE price index, then we'll see that push up. I think I like that a lot more. Okay, so I want to see that come up to that point, and then retest, then core PCE price index news, good, push, EXY higher. This is the first time I've changed my dollar index view 3 times during a stream. Think about that. But yeah, that shows, I don't think I'm going to be forcing out much trades today, but we'll see what the number gives us later on. Then now euro dollar, I'm happy with that. 1.0520, stop loss 20, take profit 70, 1.25, 1.0520, 1.0520, stop loss 20, take profit 70. That's good. Pushing down. Sweezy still at that level, but with the way it's pushing up, see, none of our levels got triggered yesterday, but we're seeing it forming up a move, right? So that's 50. 61 is right there. So if the Sweezy can break above 9010, stop loss 25, take profit 75 to the upside on dollar strength scenario. It's sitting right at that resistance and support level. You could even be looking at a straddle. 8970, stop loss 25, same thing, take profit 70, almost 75. You got a straddle there. You have a straddle there on the US Swiss franc. Okay, US Swiss franc, we have a possible straddle at support/resistance. I'll post up that as a post on TradingView just so that you can refer back to that. Then on to the US CAD. Do we have any CAD news later? No CAD news later. We're looking for that to push up to test that resistance. It did not drop as much as we expected or within that time frame. It came down at 5, but pushed up to that resistance. So now, so that trade did not trigger as well. Testing 23.6. I'll take that one away. I don't need that. I don't need this either because it's all past it. Now thinking that the dollar could push up. Let me check the H4 for the lines. Right at that point. So the next higher level, there's a bit of an interim level there. Not very strong. And then a big strong level up there. Okay, so now back to the H1 time frame and the current levels. We're looking at that. If that pushes up, okay, so what I'm looking at here on the US CAD, resistance at 1.3840, dollar, think about that, look at that. There's a bit of a level there with a trend line there. So let's say if there is a dollar weakness scenario or some CAD because of CAD profit taking and retracement level there, head and shoulder, diagonal neckline, you could be looking at a counter trend move here, 1.37 below 1.38. Stop loss could be 40 pips. No, could go nearer. Stop loss 20 pips. Take profit could go down. Let's see where can it get to. Could go to this point, which is 50 or 70 pips. Could look at that. We could be looking at that on the US CAD. That would be interesting. So 1.3820 to 70 to the downside. We're looking at, I like that one. If that works out, I'll be glad. I'll be super happy because that's an interesting setup that we found. So 1.38, stop loss 20, take profit 70. So 1.320, okay, there we go. All right, then lucky last onto gold. We were talking about this shift towards reserve above 1992, could get to 2002, hasn't done anything at all. Right? Yesterday we were right there. It was trying to break 1992. And then it went right back down, tested that support, pushed back up. It's stuck within this range. I think that it's going to remain within this range. So what I mean by that, I think it's going to do that. All right? No big news. I mean, the war or the conflict in Israel and Gaza Strip area in the Middle East is still ongoing. Doesn't seem to have any more escalation as bad as it is. Dollar is not doing too much in terms of policy changes. So I think that shift, as much as there's a shift towards reserve, it looks like gold is going to range in this area. looks like below 1984, 1983, could get down to 1972, remaining within that range. Okay, so I think that gold is ranging between 1974 and 1972 and 1992. 1972 and 1992. Then below 1980, 1982 could get 1972. 1982 could get to 1972. Okay, there you go. Hey, Monsieur Delaros, no problems. Better late than never. You can check the replays; it's there available for you all. And hey, if you set up your trades, you've been busy setting up your trades, do jump onto Discord. Do share your trade setups there as well, right? Just so that sharing your trade ideas helps with someone else might be trading. They might be sharing their own points of views. And if you have any questions, you can ask. I can give you my viewpoints as well. All right. So if you can, do share your trade ideas in the Discord channel as well. Thank you, Faith. You're most welcome. Alrighty. So again, the Discord link is there. DY44. I hope you got your answer on gold. If you haven't already, do make sure you join Discord. Please remember, trade well, trade safe, and most importantly, have a fantastic weekend ahead. It is Halloween weekend, I think. I'm pretty sure it's Halloween weekend. Hope you get a lot of candies. Hope you get a lot of chocolates and candies, and enjoy your chocolates and candies. So for now, take care, and I'll see you all next week. Bye-bye.